Hello students, welcome to the course on Advanced Communication Systems and the course code is EC801. This is a 3 credit course and this course is for BTech 8 semester EC students. Myself, Dr. Shurojit Boshak, Assistant Professor of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, Kolkata. And this is my official email address. Now today we are going to start module number 3, that is spread spectrum communication, with the topic of model of spread spectrum digital communication system. And the lesson objective of this topic is to understand the purpose of spread spectrum, the challenges it overcomes, and the advantages it provides for commercial applications of digital communication. And this topic is mapped with CO number 3 and CO number 4. So let us start lecture number 1 from the third module, that is spread spectrum communication. A major issue of concern in the study of digital communications that of providing for efficient use of bandwidth and power. The importance of these two primary communication resources, there are situations where it is necessary to sacrifice this efficiency in order to meet certain other design objectives. For example, the system may be required to provide a form of secure communications in a hostile environment such that the transmitted signal is not easily detected or recognized by unwanted listeners. This requirement is catered to by a class of signaling techniques which is collectively known as spread spectrum modulation. In spread spectrum modulation, where we intentionally increase the bandwidth through a process which is called spreading process by applying a code, wideband code, which is called spreading code. The primary advantage of a spread spectrum communication system is its ability to reject interference, whether it be unintentional interference by another user simultaneously attempting to transmit through the channel, or the intentional interference by a hostile transmitter attempting to jam the transmission. So the definition of spread spectrum modulation may be stated in two parts. First is the spread spectrum is a means of transmission in which data sequence occupies a bandwidth in excess of the minimum bandwidth necessary to send it. And the second is the spectrum spreading is accomplished before transmission through the use of a code that is independent of the data sequence. The same code is used in the receiver to disparate the received signal so that the original data sequence may be recovered. Although standard modulation techniques such as frequency modulation and pulse code modulation do satisfy the first part of this definition, and they are not spread spectrum techniques because they do not satisfy the second part of the definition. So the spread spectrum modulation was originally developed for military applications where resistance to jamming is of a major concern. However, there are civilian applications that also benefit from the unique characteristics of spread spectrum modulation. For example, it can be used to provide multipath rejection in a ground-based mobile radio environment. Yet another application is in multiple access communication, in which a number of independent users are required to share a common channel without an external synchronizing mechanism. For example, we may mention a ground-based radio environment involving mobile vehicles that must communicate with a central station. It will be discussed in the latter part of this topic. More detailed discussion will be held in the latter part of this topic. The principles of spread spectrum modulation, basically we emphasize on direct sequence spread spectrum and frequency hopping spread spectrum techniques. In a direct sequence spread spectrum technique, two stages of modulation are used. First, the incoming data sequence is used to modulate a wideband code. This code transforms the narrowband data sequence into a noise-like wideband signal. The resulting wideband signal undergoes a second modulation using a phase shifting technique. In a frequency hop spread spectrum technique, the spectrum of a data modulated carrier is wideband by changing the carrier sequence in a pseudo-random manner. For their operation, both of these techniques rely on the availability of a noise-like spreading code called pseudo-random or pseudo-noise sequence. It is a wideband noise-like code. So we have to know how to generate a pseudo noise sequence, or it is called PN sequence. A PN sequence is a periodic binary sequence with a noise-like waveform that is usually generated by means of a feedback shift register. A general block diagram. This is a general block diagram of linear feedback shift register in which we can generate PN sequence. A feedback shift register consists of an ordinary shift register made up of M flip-flops and a logic circuit that are interconnected to form a multi-hop feedback circuit. The flip-flops in the shift register are regulated by a single timing clock. At each pulse of the clock, the state of each flip-flop is shifted to the next one down the line, that is the next flip-flop. With each clock pulse, the logic circuit computes basically a Boolean function of the states of the flip-flop, and they are maintaining like that, say Sj k plus 1 equal to Sj minus 1 into k, where k greater than or equal to 0 and for j belongs to 1 to m. And this logic basically modulo 2 operator. Now let us consider an example. Consider the linear feedback shift register involving 3 flip-flop. The input S0 is applied to the first flip-flop is equal to the modulo 2 sum of S1 and S3. It is assumed that the initial state of the shift register is 100. Then succession state will be, if we follow this diagram, say therefore the succession states will be, first state it is 100, then it is shifted, then it will be 110, and by modulo 2 operation, and this will be your sequence, consecutive sequence, then 111, 011, 101, like that. And the output sequence is, that is the output from S3, that is 0 0 1 0 1 0, and the code repeats itself with the period of 2 to the power 3 minus 1. That means number of flip-flop 2 to the power m minus 1. After this period, the code repeats. Then we have to know about the notion of spread spectrum. An important attribute of spread spectrum modulation is that it can provide protection against externally generated interfering signal, which is called, say, jamming signals with finite power. The jamming signal may consist of a fairly powerful broadband noise or multi-tone waveform that is directed at the receiver for the purpose of disrupting communications. Protection against jamming waveforms is provided by purposely making the information bearing signal occupy a bandwidth far in excess of the minimum bandwidth necessary to transmit it. This has the effect of making the transmitted signal assume a noise-like appearance so as to blend into the background. One method of widening of an information bearing sequence involves the use of modulation. Let BT your data bit message signal, which is multiplied with a wideband pseudo random signal, noise signal, and the signal is generated, which is MT. It's also a wideband signal. MT is basically CT into BT. Then it goes to a transmission channel where the noise is added. Here the noise is basically IT, additive interference or additive noise. Then the signal is in the form of RT, goes to the receiver. Now in the receiver, the same PN code, PN sequence is needed to multiply. Then the signal says ZT and goes to the integrator, and after integrator it goes to the decision device where a predefined threshold is given, and the decision in favor of 1 if threshold exceeds, otherwise it is 0. So the waveform, this is the your original data signal, this is the spreading code, and when it is multiplied with BT into CT, it the product signal MT is also a wideband signal. And here TC is the chip bit duration, chip rate. Now see, when it is multiplied with data signal BT and spreading code CT, now in the first case where the signals is up to here the signal is positive. Now the signal in the output is same as the signal which is spreading code, like a spreading code, same signal. But in the negative period, in this period, when it is multiplied with the CT, the output signal is just reverse of the signal of CT. See, this part just reverse because of the negative polarity of the message signal. So, there are typically two types of spread spectrum are present. One is called direct sequence spread spectrum, and another is called frequency hop spread spectrum. Now, in the basic difference is that in direct sequence spread spectrum, which is basically based on PSK, binary phase shift keying, and in frequency hop spread spectrum is basically based on MRE FSK, frequency shift keying. But DS spread spectrum is based on phase shift key. In DSSS, the data is randomized, but the frequency is constant. But in frequency hop spread spectrum, your data is constant, whereas frequency is varying. Frequency is pseudo-random. Its frequency in every hop is changing from the center frequency. So this is the basic idea behind direct sequence spread spectrum and frequency hop spread spectrum. So in the next class, detailed discussion will be held for direct sequence spread spectrum and frequency hop spread spectrum. Okay, so thank you.